Good morning, everyone. I'm just looking at the clock. Okay, so here we are. And alrighty. Okay, so I thought I heard something. Happy Monday, anyways. Yeah, so oh my gosh, Monday already. So we're gonna do a couple different things today. And I might move this just a little closer if I can. Okay, so yeah, we're going to work with some cabbage and some beets and make a little sort of a twist on a German cabbage kind of thing. And so what I'm going to do here, I actually forgot my, oh no, I didn't forget my peeler. I have my peeler. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, good morning, Jane. I know, oh my God, I can't believe it's November. That's just so crazy. Oh, anyway, it was a beautiful, as I peel my beets here, it was a beautiful full moon Saturday night for Halloween for everybody. And so that was pretty cool. It was so magical because it was like you could see the moon really high up, and then there were like puffs of clouds, like a whole blanket. I don't know if everybody saw that, but I better watch what I'm doing here. But yeah, it was like a whole pile of us. It was like fluffy. It was like somebody stuck a whole bunch of cotton balls all together because it had the little, the little puffs and bumps, and through the whole sky. It was just so amazing. And then with the moon was very clear, like there was a hole in the puffy clouds for the moon, and it was super awesome. We a couple of girls came over and we were outside at the labyrinth and did a little celebration of the full moon, and then when we did that, it was just like magic. The clouds parted and the moon got bigger and bigger. It was just super magical. You know what? These are those these are the little heirloom beets with the designs on them. I don't know what they're called, rainbow or something. But this has a pretty nice little tender skin on it, so I don't think I'm going to worry about. See how pretty? I don't think I'm going to worry about peeling these guys because yeah, the skins are good for you, right? Your beets have so much nutrition in them, right? They're full of iron, they're full of vitamin A, vitamin C. Yeah, they've got all kinds of oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Folic acid. They've got folic acid. Yeah, so they're pretty. Okay, I have to decide. Here. Let me concentrate for a minute. The highlight of 2020 was, it really was. The highlight of 2020 was, and October, oh my God. I had to wait till October for the most amazing day of the year. Oh, speaking of amazing days, I'm not even going to go there. Okay, so, there's something else about beets that I wanted to say, and I can't think of what it is besides iron and folic acid. AC, something else. Anyways, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to put cabbage in here, so it's going to be kind of like a German cabbage. So now I'm like, okay, well, how should I cut these beets? I never thought of anything like that. I was, I don't know. I'm just going to slice them any old way because you know what? If we get too caught up in how things need to be done, then sometimes we just don't even get them done and, end up stressing yourself. So I think, I don't know, it'll be a what do they call that? Kind of a mosaic, kaleidoscope, mandala style of cutting these. So there you go. You can just do whatever you want. I want them fairly thin though because I do want them to cook a little bit evenly. I'm going to cut these just so we have more of the creativity stuff going on here. So we have all different shapes and sizes. Okay, so that's going to look really cool. And these beets are just so tender, my gosh. Yeah, so that one I don't want to cut myself doing that, so I'm just going to set that aside because it'll be a little too thick and too dangerous to try and get it thinner. So yes, so I have been working with the herbs for the cold and flu season, and I have to tell you guys that I've been working more with the Japanese knotweed, and I know everybody's all up in arms about it, but honestly, it is like, now it's when you're harvesting root plants or root herbs and you're using the roots, now's the time, because the energy has gone from the leaves and the flowers and all that stuff into the roots, right? So they're more powerful at this time of year if you're collecting any root herbs. And so the Japanese knotweed, honestly, it's the highest, well, I don't know if it's the highest, but it's like one of the highest sources of resveratrol. And you guys, the resveratrol is all they're talking about with these viruses. Resveratrol is a, I think we talked about it last week, but it's like connected to one of the ways or one of the components of remdesivir in a long, sort of really complicated way. And of course, remdesivir is a drug that's you know, that's made in a factory, in a lab. And so, I mean, you can't duplicate that. But if you go back to the natural sources of most drugs, they go back to plants. And so there is a relationship. And at any rate, through the research that I've done, the resveratrol is like super, super important. And of course, you know, to my sheer delight, there's a lot of resveratrol in wine. But for daytime use and daytime daily ingestion of resveratrol, it is in grapes as well. And but you have to make sure that your grapes are organic. And of course, this time of year, you know, your grapes are going to be imported and probably very GMO and all that kind of stuff. So the Japanese knotweed is an amazing source of that. And in Asia, it actually has a medicinal name in the traditional Chinese medicine. It has the traditional name of Hushu Wu. And I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's highly valuable for the immune system. It's antiviral, it's anti-aging, good for the memory, oh my gosh, good for nerve function, anti-anxiety, anti-stress, everything. Plus on the North American side, or whatever, I don't know exactly where the research was done, but it is the most effective thing for Lyme disease. So it just is does so many fantastic things. And so I just, it drives me crazy. I know that you don't want it near cement foundations or anything like that, and for sure you want to keep it contained or whatever. But it's so interesting and valuable to know that the you know, that the herbs have come to help us, and they offer so much. And it's like when you don't understand something, we have a tendency to look at it in a negative way first, or maybe it's a fearful way. Maybe it's just a fearful way. And so, you know, and tend to not give things a chance. Like, I mean, even going down to dandelions, you know, most people hate them, and they're so vital to our health. You know, they have so many fantastic, oh my gosh, good for the liver, good for the eyes, you know, good for everything. It's good for the blood. And, you know, so many of these plants have such amazing properties, and we either, you know, ignore them or try and eradicate them, or, you know, don't really look at the uses. And the other thing with the Japanese knotweed is it is a food. They use it, they eat it all the time in the Asian countries. It's kind of sort of like a rhubarb. That's in the spring. You can't be doing that now. Of course, it's all dying down now anyway, which is why the roots are the best part. So, I have been working with that. I've been making formulas for tinctures and powder formulas for myself and some clients, and to boost the immune system, because it's so important right now to take care of your immune system. And yeah, so that's been super fun, and lots going on there, because it's that time, right? Making a lot of my cold and flu teas as well. Those orders are just flying out the door, because it does work really well. I know I have many fans of the cold and flu tea. Okay, so is that pretty? I wondered about this. I wondered if the beets would turn the beautiful yellow and orange ones, or pink ones, they're sort of pinky white, if it would turn them all red, and it kind of is, but that's okay. And see, we didn't have to peel the ones that were fresh from the garden, because the you know, if it's organic, the outer skin is very beneficial in most vegetables. So we're gonna get these guys down. I guess it's time to add the cabbage, and so we're gonna add this, and I always wish I had another camera too. I mean, I do have another camera, but I just never think about it. Take a picture while before I do the next step. But anyways, we could probably do a still shot on or what do they call that? Video capture. That's what they call it. When you can get a picture, like a still frame shot out of your video for a picture. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. I'm just going to stir these guys together. So I thought that would be a good twist, like super healthy with the beets for the iron and all that stuff, and then with the cabbage, of course. The red cabbage or purple cabbage has vitamin K and vitamin C. It actually has more vitamin C than vitamin K, and it's full of antioxidants as well. It has B vitamins too, and did I say A? Has A, K, C, A, K, C, A, potassium, things like that. Okay, so anyways, okay. What we're going to add to this, I should have a little sip of my water. Actually, I have a little bit of chakra tea in there, very highly diluted. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of, just to kind of put it into the Germanish way of doing this. I have my organic apple from the tree, so I'm going to add a little bit of apple to it as well. And I don't know if I need that much, because there's not really that much there. So yeah, so I'm just going to do that similar to how I did the beets. Maybe I'll turn it over so I'm not making so much noise for you guys crashing into the cutting board. So we're going to add a little bit of apple. I think typically what they do is they shred it or something. Oh, hi everybody. I didn't see everybody else come on. Hey, Darlene, and trying to see everybody else. Norris, I think, and good morning, everyone. Sometimes I see the comments, and sometimes they just fly by, and I don't see who comes on. So good morning. Happy Monday. We're just doing this beautiful, beets and cabbage side dish, I guess. So, yeah. So the apple's going to add a little bit of, you know, these are not super sweet. So, oh, sorry, I was clanging on the cutting board again. Oops. Oh gosh. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, so it's going to add a little bit of tartness, a little bit of sweetness, and we'll see. We'll see if they turn red. I think they are going to turn red, so we'll see what they look like. Anyway, okay, so a little bit of Celtic sea salt, of course. We're going to add that. Actually, it'd be kind of neat if it just stayed like that. You know, I'm always all about the color. And I don't know. We'll see. You could add fresh apple right before you serve it, you know, just for color. Although I haven't had this discussion with you guys too much, as many times as I would like. But you really ideally should not add fruit when you're eating other foods, fresh fruit, because fresh fruit it has enzymes, right? The apples will start to turn brown within minutes, and that's the enzymes breaking down the food or the fruit or the vegetable. And so all vegetables and fruits have enzymes in them, but fruit specifically will break down in about 20 minutes. And so if you eat fresh fruit with a full meal, the fruit will break down faster and it will actually start to ferment and inhibit the ideal digestion for the rest of the meal. So it will start to ferment and create gas and bloating and indigestion and uncomfortableness for people that are sensitive to that. And so so the rule is in nutrition, natural nutrition, is eat your fruit 20 minutes before a meal or 2 hours after. Especially if you've eaten a heavy meal, it takes 2 hours for that to digest, because the fruit will break down faster and create all those issues. So in the case of these guys are pretty fresh, but I am heating them enough that I'm going to be breaking down most of the enzymes. That's not really what you want. You want to have food, fresh raw food, as much as possible, as much fresh fruit and fresh vegetables as possible, because you need those enzymes in your body. But when you cook food, it destroys the enzymes, and in this case, you know, we're taking some of the enzymes out of that. Oh, I think I've gone, okay, it's a whole nother course. It's a whole nother lecture on the enzymes. I actually have a PowerPoint and a whole little mini class on it. So I hope I haven't confused you too much, but for anybody with indigestive issues, let's just say this: when you eat fresh fruit, do it 20 minutes before a meal or 2 hours after. Okay, if you're going to mix fruit with your meal, then it would help. If you have those digestive issues, it would help to cook it a bit. Okay, that's two things. Having said that, when you're not cooking food, you should, any other time, you should eat as much fresh and raw fruits and vegetables as possible. Does that make more sense? Oh my God, sometimes I can just go round and round and round and round and round. Okay, let's add the next step here before I confuse you even more. We did the salt. We didn't do any pepper. I think I'd like this a little spicy. So I am going to add a little bit of cayenne to it. Okay. And, you know, traditionally it has a little bit of apple cider vinegar. This is our homemade apple cider vinegar that we've made, which reminds me, I have no idea how much that was. If MG is around, she usually types up the recipes for me, or the amounts and the recipes. Yeah, the apple cider vinegar reminds me that people have been asking to make the fire water again, so we should do that so that everybody has a fresh batch for this winter to help you with what's going on with to avoid any colds or flus. In case we have the apple cider vinegar, we're going to add some maple syrup to this, so it has a bit of a sweet, soury taste. And I added quite a bit of apple cider vinegar, so I'm going to add equal amounts of maple syrup. And if you find it too sweet, add some more apple cider vinegar. If you find it too sour, add some more maple syrup. So completely to taste of whatever it is that you want to do. And I am going to add, I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to add just a hint of ground allspice, just to give it kind of a little bit of a flair. Okay, just a sprinkle of that, just kind of bring out those, you know, the allspice flavors, kind of, I don't know, it makes it festive and wintry and smell good, and just a hint of something different in there. Okay, so that's off. Yeah, we did the salt and the pepper, and you know what? I'm just going to move that here for a second till it cools a little bit, because I don't want to overcook it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Alrighty, stick those in there. So much fun to play with food. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Okay, maybe what I'll do is I'll just add some water. That'll slow down the cooking, and it'll evaporate because the bottom of the thing's still hot. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next thing here. And what we're going to do at this, and I have to say this is an inspiration by MJ, and so we're going to kind of make like a sort of a Nutella, a twist on a Nutella. Actually, it's not really a twist on a Nutella. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't a twist on the Nutella. So what we're going to do, we have some, I've got the natural almond butter here. And you can use whatever you want. I just, okay. You know what they say to do, and I didn't do it, is to turn it upside down, and you know what? It's not mixed. That is not going to work because I'm not going to sit here and mix that. You know how the oil separates from the nuts, and they say to turn it upside down so that it doesn't do, so that it mixes. And you know what? That really works, and I forgot to do that. So we're gonna not use the almond butter that I have planned here because it's so totally separated. I'd be stirring. So let me see what I have in the fridge. Gotta love Facebook Live, and you think you're prepared, and you often aren't. So we might be switching to Plan B, or let's see. Okay, let's check the other two because I keep my nut butters in the fridge. I don't know, you know, I think that most people do. Just gonna wipe my hands from that because that was really oily and not separated. So this is a pumpkin seed butter. Let's have a look and see. It looks separated too. I should have stirred them before I started. It's a surprise. Okay, this one's good. This one looks like I can deal with this. This is, and that's awesome. It's an almond cashew butter. Okay, I did have it upside down. Okay, so let's try this one. I'll be able to work with this one. Lucky me, we didn't have to come up with a brand new recipe right out of my head with things that were close by. So you can just take whatever you want. This is a almond cashew butter. And I mean, typically like the Nutella is a hazelnut. I don't have hazelnut butter, and I can see that I need to stir these guys up. So, but this is a almond cashew butter. So you're just going to spread it around here, and it would be a really good idea to make sure it's well mixed. This one wasn't too bad. The oils were pretty blended. So, you know how sometimes with natural nut butters like this, super hard. That's what happened with the almond. It was super hard at the top and then a big layer of oil. So it is a little trickier, you know, working with natural foods like natural nuts, nut butters, like, you know, I mean, the peanut butter that you buy typically, I don't, you know, whatever the brand names are, like that's all, they do stuff to make sure that it stays evenly smooth and soft, you know, when you stick it in the cupboard, and you don't even have to put it in the fridge. You can put it in the cupboard and it'll still be good for probably a couple years later. I don't know. But anyway, when you're working with natural foods, it is a little more delicate, and you have to pay attention to what food does in a natural way. So on to the recipe. So it's just whatever nut butter you have. Even if you do have peanut butter, it's perfectly fine. Whatever turns you on. And so we're going to add some cocoa to it. And so that's going to be really lovely. And that's probably, I'm going to say like 3/4 of a cup maybe of the nut butter. And that much. I really love chocolate. So I'm going to add that much, a heaping tablespoon of the cocoa. And you know, one of the things that, I have to say, one of the things that MJ, hey Terry, good morning. I need another sip of water here. So one of the things that MJ had mentioned, because she actually did this and inspired me to do it, and I'm doing a little bit of a twist on it. I think she used honey. We're going to use maple syrup for the sweetener, and was that this would make a really good frosting, you know, or icing for cupcakes or whatever. Okay, so again, to your own sweetness, whatever you want to do, you know, I like a more of a semi-sweet. So I'm not going to put too much. And then with the cashews too, because it's cashew almond butter, I'm going to try not to fly this powder around and inhale it. With the cashew butter, it's sweet too, right, already. So you don't need too much. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to it as well. And just a little. And what was the other thing? The other thing, oh, we're going to add some Celtic sea salt to it. The Celtic sea salt is more of a mineral salt, so you can use quite a bit of it because it's not nearly as salty tasting as Himalayan sea salt or any of the other salts. So it seems like I put quite a bit in, but it won't. It's a very mild flavored salt, I guess you could say. And yeah, so what we're gonna do is blend this together, and it is blending up like a nice icing. And I'm gonna stay away from that powder. If I inhale it, I'll start coughing for sure until it gets all mixed in there. And so this is fantastic, right? This is really quite healthy. It's cashew butter, it's almond butter, it's pure cocoa or cacao. You know, you can get your organic source, and vanilla, and a little bit of Celtic sea salt. So it's already like super healthy. What you can do, what you can add to this, like we've been talking a lot last week about the I am going to add a little bit more maple syrup to it, because it's intuitively telling me to do that because it's getting dry. I guess you could add a little bit of water if you wanted to. Anyway, back to the thing. The thing was to make things healthier, and so we talked about that a lot last week, adding powdered herbs to your foods. And so what you can add to this, depending on what you want to do, you could add, like I make my morning powders, which are a mixture of herbs that are good for, in general, for everybody, but it's specifically for me. So that's like a shatavari, moringa, ashwagandha, astragalus, ginseng. I just saw something out the window. And so whatever it is that you wanted to add. So you could add maca to this if you have maca powder. Maca is really good for energy. It's really good for brain function. It's good for energy, good for stamina, good for brain function. Something else. I know some people say maca for the caca. So I know it's good for digestion and intestinal health. And the other thing you could add, okay, aside from maca, you could, because what I do is shatavari, moringa, ashwagandha, of course, is going to be fantastic. Your ashwagandha is a Ayurvedic herb, and it's really good for immune system. It's good for hormone balancing. It's good for anti-anxiety, and it's really helpful for stress. Balances all those things. And so, but the thing with the ashwagandha is it does have a bit of a bitter taste to it. So depending on what you're adding it to, I hear something. Depending on what you're adding it to, it can have a bit of a bitterness. And or you can add something like astragalus, which is also really, really good. It's super amazing for the immune system. Astragalus has virtually, you know, not much flavor. So you can add it to anything, and you can actually add quite a bit to it. It's also antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. And so, so I'm going to put some of that in here just to make this super healthier. So, yeah, so if you wanted to, you could add this to, you know, have it, I don't have it totally mixed. I'm too busy talking to you guys. But you can add it to, add a little bit of water to it, and use it as an icing or frosting or whatever. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of the astragalus. Actually, I'd say, I don't know, what is that, a third of a teaspoon of astragalus to it, because the astragalus has no flavor, or hardly any flavor, but it's super good for the immune system. It's anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, good for the heart, good for stress. And then the ashwagandha also is really anti-stress as well, and good for hormones, like really good for hormones. So I'll add just a little bit of that, although I probably got enough maple syrup in there that you won't be able to taste it being bitter anyways. So yeah, so, or you could add ginseng if you wanted to. Ginseng's really good for energy. You could add ginkgo, really good for the memory and the brain. Maybe I should be adding that. And so you could add anything you want to it. And then you've got like a super healthy nut butter that is also an antioxidant, and or depending on whatever the herbs are that you put in. I'm going to add a little bit of water here. So, oh, what else? Shatavari is really good if you have, it's good for balancing the female hormones. Like it's good for male hormones too, but it's specifically good, helpful for balancing like things like menopause and all that kind of stuff. Overall, it's just good. It's good for everything. It's good for stress. It's good for, yeah, all kinds of things. So, and that's shatavari. So you can look these up, you guys, and just see whatever you think. Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep working with this till it gets well blended. It's starting to come along. It is, and it's not gonna look like much because, you know, I mean, if I put it on something, I don't know, but I'll show you the, I'll show it to you in a spoon, in the spoon. Once I get all the nut butters mixed. Okay, so basically, I don't know, it still doesn't look very good, and I'm not sure what to do about that, but it's really yummy. Okay, so this is cashew for the new people that came on. This is cashew almond butter mixed with cocoa, organic cocoa, and a little bit of vanilla, sea salt, maple syrup, and we've added some astragalus and ashwagandha to it for extra health benefits. So there you go. So there's a little spread for you. Excuse me. Oh my God. So there's a spread for you to use on your toast or whatever. You can icing anything with it. Put it on whatever you want. And our beautiful beet and cabbage salad. I'm losing it. Our beautiful beet and cabbage stir fry. It's kind of a German twist. For those of you that came on, it's got 3 different types of beets, purple cabbage, and we added some allspice, apple cider vinegar, and maple syrup. Okay, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out. It was so much fun. Share the videos. check out my Instagram and my YouTube channel and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.